This is the JFJ Conspiracy, where the shop talk is rock.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Frank.
And I'm Jerry.
And this is the JFJ Conspiracy Podcast, where the shop talk is rock. How are you guys doing?
Wonderful.
Great.
Excellent. We got a special show tonight.
Yes.
Going to talk a little bit.
Really big show.
Really big show.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen.
Here we go. First of all, I want to say I wasn't planning on going to the Kiss concert. We talked about this at length. But my son Dominic got tickets and took me on Tuesday to Anaheim, and we had a good time.
All that matters.
Kiss puts on a solid show, and we've got a very special guest a little bit later who's going to talk a little bit about it, and he'll give us his take on it. And I'm looking back, I'm glad I went. I'm just going to leave that there. So,
yeah, good. Yeah. You had a good time anyway, right? No matter what, you had a good time.
Yeah.
Hanging out with your kid, seeing Kiss.
Oh, that's it. You know, we went
seeing Kiss with your kid. Listen to ourselves, guys.
Well, it's
yeah,
fun.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Right?
And you know what's funny? He'll kill me for saying this, but I took him to the Psycho Circus show at Dodger Stadium in '98, and that was his first live experience of Kiss. And after that, I remember I would come home from work, and he would be outside on the patio with the boombox and a plastic guitar doing his own Kiss concert out there. Not a care in the world.
Yeah.
And
that's what it's all about.
He's been a fan ever since. I mean, just
wonderful.
Yeah.
But who didn't? I mean, who didn't? If you're a music lover, who didn't do that when they were a kid?
Well,
you know?
Man.
If anyone's been looking at our Facebook page, they've seen our picture, and the one I posted of my wall of air guitars. Most of those were used in Kiss concerts.
Oh, yeah.
So.
I think you took one of mine, Frank. I recognize that one on the lower right. I go, that's my air guitar.
I'll get it back to you for
that
sure.
That guy? Yeah.
So we got 3 new bands to look at, and then we're going to revisit Boston, the debut album. Oh, yeah.
Iconic.
It is an iconic album. It really is.
Album.
We're talking 17 million copies sold of a debut album, second highest only to Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses, yeah.
So, but not to get into it too much, the list of high sellers, that's about it for hard rock, guys. The rest of it is pop.
Oh, yeah.
And
Thriller's probably up there.
Yeah.
I know Fleetwood Mac, Rumors is way up there.
Debut.
AC/DC, Back in Black.
Debut albums, yeah.
Take that back.
Pearl Jam's debut was 13 million. And then Linkin Park was 10 million. And then we get into people like Britney Spears and the Backstreet Boys and Hootie and the Blowfish. And
yeah, but you
now,
can't compete against that.
No.
That's but we're talking sales. That's just debut album. So
I know, but when you say Pearl Jam, only sold 13 million,
right?
You know,
at that time, that's heavy duty.
Yeah, well,
that's heavy duty for anybody.
Well, they sold 13 million, and then probably 25 to 45 million were downloaded for free. You know, because that was the age. That's when it started.
So you got into it, right?
Yeah. So, anyways, we have 3 bands tonight. We're looking at see if I can pull my band up, and what I've got tonight is a band called the Mighty Weed and Cobras. And they're from up in Toronto. Yeah, what a name, huh?
What a name.
I love it.
This EP is a 3-song EP. It's available on Bandcamp. It's really cool. The singer and guitarist name is Young Ray Kang. Drummer is Brandon Monroe. Keyboard is Nick Proshin, and I just butchered that. But get
you
this,
and your
guys.
names, Frank.
I know it. Get this, the bass player is Germ Spurman. Oh, I love that. And the guitar player is Briar Gray. This came out January of this year. It's available on Bandcamp. You can download it. I suggest you check it out. The song is called Try. All right, that's the Mighty Weed and Cobras.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think?
I like it. That's got to be That's got to be a Telecaster. I love it.
It's not what you would expect from me, I know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, different. I was listening to it again today, and I thought this is kind of out of character for Frank. But I love that kind of '60s garage rock vibe. You know, I love that, and these guys I don't think take themselves too seriously.
No, with a bass player named Germ Sperman. What do you expect?
I know. What do you expect?
I'm not touching that one. I got stuff floating around my head. I'm not touching that one.
What Frank didn't mention is the album's available for free.
Yeah,
it's a name your price. There's no price on it. You can just download it, and something about them being from Toronto. I was like just kind of looking at that and thinking like, it's crazy Canadians up there just making making crazy music. But I enjoyed it. I liked the whole EP. Thought it was great.
Yeah, I downloaded it. I bought it, and I listened to it today. And all 3 songs on the EP are good, real good, catchy stuff.
Yeah, it is.
So
very, very well done.
I like it.
The Mighty Weed and Cobras.
All right, so they're the Mighty Weed.
The Mighty Weed.
Okay.
And Cobras.
I love the Mighty. I love the Mighty in a band name.
Yeah. No, they say up in Toronto. It was recorded up that way, and just good sound. It's refreshing to hear younger players still have an ability to play something without a lot of distortion and screaming and yelling and everything else. So.
And they have to have a respect for it because it comes through in the sound. It's like they're respecting the sound of those days. I like it. Yeah.
Good job, guys. All right. Well, let's move on. What you got for us, Jerry? I
have a transfusion of rock and roll into the veins. They're called American Bombshell. And they're from Indianapolis, Indiana. They're formed in 2014. And they have an album out called No Regrets right now. They had a couple of singles out, My Drug and Saving Me. These cats won an award called the Grammy Amplifier in 2014. And up against 4,000 participants, and they won. They also won the Hard Rock Rising Award of 2017. And when I listen to this band, guys, and folks out in Conspiracy Land, I get a heavy dose of Rob Halford vocals from Judas Priest, Stephen Pearcy vocals from Rat. I hear some Kiss chord progressions, some of the solos, and they're 5-piece. And we've got JC on vocals, Steve Boyles guitar, Andrew Nixon on guitar, Dustin Green on bass, Jason Carr on drums and cowbell, it specifically says. But guys, when they won that contest, they won a chance to record with a well-known producer, and they won. And so they got to produce a song with Michael Klink, who produced like the first 5 Guns N' Roses albums. He did Rust in Peace by Megadeth. Wow. These guys are just metalheads, and it's wonderful to hear. It's wonderful to hear a rhythm guitar and then a lead come in and out, and then they switch. Vocals, the guy is wonderful. and this, to me, this is just like, if you ever say, well, what happened to rock and roll? Listen to American Bombshell, people. It's heavy duty, and I love it. I love it. Well, American Bombshell.
And the song we're going to listen to is called Tattoos and Booze. Let's give it a listen.
Oh, yeah.
You've got nothing left to lose. When I'm made of everything you're not, and I hold it all together with scars and tattoos and bows.
All right, that's Tattoos and Booze from American Bombshell.
Oh, Lord. Thank you,
I like
Lord.
that.
Oh, man, is that good. And Frank and Jim, if I might add, they have a new album dropping in March 23rd called Tattooed and Bruised.
All right.
So they do have tats. The guys in the band have tats. But to me, that's just metal extraordinaire, guys.
Good stuff.
Whew.
Yeah, that's a good, well-produced and nice and gritty. I like it.
Yeah, Brittle takes you back to a time, you know.
It does.
Kind of a sleaze rock vibe.
Yep.
Great lead guitar in there, and well produced, obviously.
Very clean,
yeah.
very nice. Yeah.
Rocks hard. I like
that.
it.
Oh, that gives me my dose.
Yeah, can't wait to-
I love it.
Can't wait to hear the rest of the album. You know, check
It's
it out.
good. I bought it. No regrets.
No regrets.
American Bombshell, folks. iTunes, Spotify, Bandcamp. Yeah, it's out there.
All right.
No regrets. Yep.
Good deal. Well, moving on. Jim, what do you have for us this week?
Okay, so the band I have is called Cassettes, not the Cassettes. If you search the Cassettes, you won't find them. Simply Cassettes. Found these guys on Bandcamp. Not a lot of info on them. It's Matt DiStefano on vocals and guitar, Jim Fox on guitar, Chris Hill on keyboards and vocals, Joe Robinson on bass, and Sean Ward on drums. I feel lucky because the bands I get always have really easy names to pronounce.
Yeah, you're lucky.
I don't know.
Same here, Jim. Frank's the one that has problems.
Poor Frank. But the album that these guys just put out, so good.
All right.
So good. It's called Wild Heart. Available as a download. Also available in limited edition colored vinyl.
Woohoo!
Beautiful. Three different. They've got a clear with like a blue splatter. They've got a sort of half blue, half white, and then like a baby blue color that's all look amazing.
Well, someone in the band's got a trust fund.
Yes. The songs are just great. I've listened to the whole album. The songcraft is just phenomenal. Everything on it is good. It's extremely well produced. Very slick production. So a little different than some of the bands that we've had. I mean, this is very, very well produced, I would say. And the song that we are going to listen to, where is it? I just lost it.
Born in the 90s.
Born in the 90s. That's
Yeah.
what it was. I wanted to say 90s girl. It's not 90s girl.
No.
Born in the 90s. Well, so let's take a listen.
I'm sure glad you said that because that's what I've got queued up. Born in the 90s. Here we go.
Blonde hair, cherry lips, you move like I did back when I was young. Girl, when drive by, crush out at first sight. I bet you still believe in love. Oh well, oh hell, 23 ain't all that young. So happy birthday, baby. Mighty run, 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 mighty run, run. It's strange, I'm finding I could date a girl born in the
Lovely.
music there.
Yes, sir.
I like that.
Like I said, the
Oh, man.
songcraft on every single song
Wow.
is just that good. It's just that good.
Good.
These guys should be ruling the world. They should be playing arenas in 12 months' time or less. If they're not, then there's no justice in the world.
Well,
That's all I can say.
if they that whole album that they come out with has that kind of energy,
That's good stuff,
And that
Jim.
production,
My word.
they should be going somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sent the band an email. Like as soon as I heard it, I listened to a few songs and I sent off an email. I said, "Look, your album is ridiculously good. I want to feature you guys on the podcast." They got back to me like kind of almost right away and just
Cool.
said, "Yeah, we're down, absolutely."
Good
right.
stuff.
So anyway, great band. I'm in love with them.
Cassettes.
Cassettes. Out of Philadelphia.
All right.
I
We'll
love
have
it.
to check them out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, guys, like I was saying before, we've got a very special guest for tonight's show. And let's jump right into that, shall we? And now, from the set of the Entertainment Beach podcast, is our good friend Leo Quinones, also known as the Film Freak. How you doing, Leo?
I have never been better, Frank. I am loving you guys, Jerry, Jim. I am a big fan of the podcast, so way to go.
Hey, we appreciate
Thank you
that.
very much. High
Yeah.
praise indeed.
And the reason we reached out to you is because we know you are not just a film freak, you're a Kiss freak. You are.
I am. Yeah.
Certifiable.
You know, it's against better judgment. You know, people tell you what to like and what not to like, but you got to be true to you. And to me, being a Kiss fan is just loving what you do, loving what they do, and just go ahead and doing it. It's the best.
I love it.
Right. And I know with the End of the Road tour in full swing here in North America, you've been to a couple of the shows.
Yeah, I kind of like laid out the battle plan. Let's see, I started in San Diego, and we got great front row seats. We just kind of snuck down there, and no one came. Wow! And it was on Paul's side of the stage, and that was fantastic.
Well, of course.
Yes, and then I flew with Holly, my wife, to Sacramento.
Bless her
and
heart.
we saw him up there, and they killed there. I could tell you what Gene said. He broke character. He broke character. He's spitting blood, and he's looking at the crowd for approval, and he's like,
Right.
you know, he's waiting for the crowd to go crazy, and then he says, by the way, he goes, "Can I get an effing spotlight?" You know, 20 years we're on tour with this guy. Hey, dude, I know where you live. And by the way, F you. I'm like,
Wow.
I looked at Holly. Holly looked at me. He just kind of came out of character, which is so rare.
Yeah.
I really have never seen it. And let's just say Gene wants it his way.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know. And then, okay, I saw him at the Honda Center, of course, with you, Frank.
Yep.
And then the Forum last Saturday. This weekend, I'm heading to Memphis to catch him at the FedEx Forum. And and by the way, you know, in September, we got to get Jerry in there. We got to get him in the arena somewhere.
Well.
They're coming to Oakland. If you guys, all three of you guys, if you guys want a road trip up there together to Oakland to see Kiss, why not? We got plenty of time to plan it. Let's just do a JFJ podcast road trip. Let's do it.
Someone's throw down the
like that.
gauntlet. Yeah.
No kidding. No kidding.
He's throwing down the Kiss gauntlet. I accept.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely. I'm in.
Jerry's
Good.
in, all right.
Yeah.
That's two. That's two. Come on, Jim.
Oh man, I got to check with the boss.
For September?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
you don't know Jim, Leo. Oh boy, that's a little too early. If you would have said September 2022, we might be okay.
Yeah. I would commit and then have to change plans.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
All
well,
right.
we got 2 on a 3, and we're working
yeah.
on the third. Okay.
September,
Good.
that's plenty of time. Yes, sir.
All right.
Yep.
Definitely keep you posted on that.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I wanted to know through the years, because I know you've seen them off and on almost every tour. You and I
Right.
have talked. Alive 2 was my first show.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
at the
yeah. Me
Forum.
too.
Yeah.
hmm
Oh,
Mine was the 26th. There was 3 shows. Mine was the middle show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great.
I was up there, and by the way, at that show, I didn't know what an encore was.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So I decided, hey, I'm quick. Let me just scurry out of here. And I ran out of the place before they sang Kiss, before they sang Black Diamond,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden the doors shut, and those Forum doors are heavy. Boom, and I'm like, wow, let me in.
Yeah.
And I heard the bombs going off, and holy crap. I went to when I interviewed Peter Criss, I told him that story, and he wrote on the Kiss Alive album, my Kiss Alive album, he wrote, Leo, I'm sorry you missed Beth. God is gonna hate me for saying this, but
you can say it, Leo.
No.
he spelled missed M-I-S-T. Thank you very much. Yeah,
Because that's what
perfect.
that's what was
Perfect.
going on. That's what was going on in
that's
your eyes
perfect.
at the time. Yeah.
That's great.
There you go.
Oh my God. Yeah. So.
Hey, if he can drum, spelling's not a requirement.
No.
Right.
Count to
Exactly.
4. That's all you got to do.
Okay. What was the question again? 77.
My question to you is,
Yeah.
of all
That
the
was
years
fun.
and all the tours, what's been your favorite?
Oh gosh, of all the years and all the tours, I gotta say, some people don't believe that Kiss is a band now that Ace and Peter are gone. I understand where their frustration is, but they go, no, I'll never see them. They're a cover band, whatever. I think that Kiss kind of is more of a feeling. You do a shot of tequila, look, it's Peter Criss. Look, it's Ace Frehley, and you get the experience. So, yeah.
Hi, Holly.
Hey, is she back there? Yeah. That's all right, honey. You look good. So what was
Wonderful.
What was my favorite Kiss concert? I would probably say the farewell tour. Kiss was they weren't having a good time with the tour,
Right.
but Peter, Paul, Gene, and Ace playing all the classic Kiss songs. I mean, like "Let Me Go," "Rock and Roll," "Firehouse." That was a really great tour for me. Even though Paul hated it, the farewell tour. I saw a lot of those shows.
Right.
So there you go.
Very good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that as well. I remember because they pretty much recreated Kiss Alive
Oh
on
yeah.
that tour. And it was just like going back to 1975.
Yeah, and
awesome.
that makeup helps them go back to 1975. Paul keeps in great shape. Gene's costumes just get bigger and
Yeah.
bigger.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, what's going on there? But
Well, that was my joke. I was wondering how he was going to get down the steps at the whiskey. Because,
I guess.
How's he gonna
Oh,
make
yeah.
it? Yeah, down the steps.
They took out every other step so he can make it, probably.
Jim, do
He
you have a
likes
question?
I have a question. Yeah. So there's been a lot of talk, obviously, about, are they using backing tracks? Are they lip syncing? Now you've seen them. You've already seen 4 shows, right?
Yeah.
What is your take? You think they are? You think they aren't? And if they are, do you care?
Well, first of all, they're doing like 4 shows a week on this end of the road tour. I mean, they did like Honda Center, then Fresno, then Vegas, then the Forum, back to back to back to back. I don't see how anyone can do that. I mean, the Bee Gees, more or less Kiss. I mean, that is just a hard strain on the voice. I believe that there are some backing tracks, and Gene always says there's no tapes on this tour. You won't hear any tapes on this tour.
Tapes.
I believe there are some something to help them, and God of Thunder. I noticed that. Did you notice that one, Frank? And God of Thunder, they have video screens of Gene singing a version of the song, and he's kind of like, he's doing it all. I gather doctors to please me, and you know what, at Saturday night's Forum show, it was not in sync with Gene's voice at all.
Yeah.
And they killed it. They just cut it off completely. So I believe that they have the backing track when it's for a better reason, for better or worse. It's like they have the backing track when they've got it down, but when they're on their own, they're on their own. So, you know what? Do I care that they have a backing track? Of course I care if they have a backing track. But I'm not going to let it get in the way of me having a great time at the show.
Good point.
So,
Yeah,
you know,
that's
a
fair.
good point. No, that's a good point. Yeah.
well, you know, God, I mean, you know, this is the only thing in my life right now that makes me feel 15 years old.
Right.
And I swear I long to feel that way when I see them. And when I'm in the middle of it, I'm watching them, I'm like, oh, this is great. You know, me, I've never taken any heroin or cocaine or drugs or anything like that. So, you know, I just go see Kiss.
Kiss is your high.
There
Yeah,
it is.
And
you
that's
know,
good. That's a good thing.
You know, yeah, it's a good thing. So,
Yeah.
You know what? Just go ahead and lip sync. You know, it's the end of the road tour. And this is the first year. Now, this is scheduled for a 3-year tour. So that's what they're coming back around to Oakland, and they'll be back around again. So they have about at least another 2 years. How they're going to do it, I don't know. But they're going to get some help.
Oh yeah.
And by the way, when Eric Singer sings Beth with the grand piano,
I saw that.
I'm hearing some strings in the background. I'm like,
Right. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I don't know. So
I think they've always done that with the.
They
backing
did that
track,
on live
though,
too,
so-
also, Leo. Yeah, you could hear the strings in the background. There was no violin players there. Yeah.
we have no
Right.
tapes. We have no tapes.
Oh, it's the digital age.
Except for that one.
You know?
Oh, it's digital. It's not tape. But you know, it's all a play on
True.
words. But I'll tell you what,
Nothing analog.
Eric
Yeah.
killed that song, man. He nailed it.
Right?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
No, he's a great singer.
He is.
He
really
he's
is
been-
a good
He's
singer.
been begging them for years. Let me sing this, and they've been putting it off. But you know what? Because it's the last tour.
End of the
By
road.
the way,
Do it.
FYI, Beth is their biggest hit ever. Of course, they have to do it.
Right.
So that's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jerry, do you have a question?
Yes, I did, Leo.
All right.
What is your
Hey,
take
by the
on the?
way,
Yeah.
hey, Jerry, that's a hell of a nice Love Gun shirt there.
I was wondering when you get to it, brother. You know, April of
Oh.
2017 in Laughlin, baby. Leo and I watching Kiss, baby.
Meet and greet?
Yeah. Oh, and a meet and greet. Just if I can do a side thing, guys. Paul is Leo's guy, and so we're deciding. You know, well, you want Gene or Paul? I was like, Gene. and guys, I walk up. I don't know what to do, and Gene goes like this. He gives me a pound. Hey, what's up? And I was like, all I kept thinking was while I'm posing for the picture, Gene just pounded me.
Oh,
Gene just
man.
gave me a pound.
Yeah.
Gene just,
But
yeah.
that was phenomenal, phenomenal
it
time.
was heavy duty. But yeah, my question, Leo, is you got people on both sides of the track here about the addition of Tommy Thayer and Eric Singer.
Mm-hmm.
What is your opinion on that as far as, because I own Sonic Boom and Monster, and to me, those are Kiss albums. So what do you say to the people that say, well, that's not,
I believe they're Kiss albums too.
yeah. What do you think? What do you think about Tommy Thayer and Eric Singer?
Okay. You know what? I'd like to thank Tommy Thayer. I think he saved Kiss with the band. He was their tour manager for a while. He did all their video projects for a while. He is just the glue to the band. He was even in Ace Frehley makeup off to the side just in case Ace didn't show up.
Right.
You know, hey, Ace, you're lucky you showed up because this was waiting and he was going to take the stage for you. So Tommy Thayer, very instrumental in Kiss. And Eric Singer, much respect, mad respect. This 60-year-old drummer, he's killing it out there.
He is.
I mean, the drum solos brought him back. I love him.
Yeah.
He's also, a little side note, he's playing drums in Paul Stanley's side group, Soul Station.
Soul Station.
I've seen that. I've seen them about 6 or 7 times, and they play that old Motown stuff. Fantastic. That's another podcast. But you know, I think it's fine. Both of those two guys, whatever makes Kiss work today, because you know, Gene will always do it, but Paul, he kind of says the band's never been better, and I believe that's true with those guys. So I like Eric and I like Tommy, but would I rather have Peter, Chris, and Ace Frehley? Of course, 100 times yes. But you know what? Paul and Gene are the workaholics, and Ace and Peter are the partyaholics, and they just couldn't last. I mean, I've seen Ace Frehley, and he's doing good with his solo gigs, but his new album, it's terrible.
Same here.
Terrible.
I was like,
It was a letdown.
I like Origins Volume 1, but this stuff.
Yeah, that's real. I mean, the Eddie Murphy one, you know, or not Eddie Murphy. I'm sorry, Eddie Money one.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy.
Oh,
Eddie
that's
Money.
terrible.
So yeah, it's terrible. But so that's what I think. I really think the band they're firing on all cylinders. They have a little help with the lip syncing, but if you want the show from 8:45 till 11 p.m., they're gonna rock out. They're gonna rock out, and yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so much.
That.
Yeah,
I like that.
All right, Leo. You know what? Believe it or not, we have a whole other podcast to do.
Yeah.
So
let's do it.
Yeah.
You guys do it.
Yeah, we'll
you
do
guys
it.
do it.
No, we're going to do ours from Oakland in September, Leo.
Hey,
All right.
let's do a live podcast from Oakland. How about that?
Yeah.
That would be
got it.
cool.
All right.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it.
Party. Thanks,
All
Leo.
right, Leo. We appreciate it. Talk
Thanks
to
a
you
lot,
soon.
Leo.
Awesome.
Have a good
By
evening.
the way, here we go.
Look at
My
that.
little Gene Simmons right over there.
Oh, great shot.
Hey,
End of the road. End of the road.
oh,
Real
that
quickly,
show off,
did you-
Leo, I love it.
Real quickly,
love
did you
it.
buy a $95 tour shirt?
Oh no, I would never do any of their packaged VIPs. No, I can't afford that stuff.
I hear
But-
you.
All right.
All right,
I'll
Leo.
see you guys again, okay?
All right, take care.
Thanks, Leo.
All right.
That was
Thanks,
awesome.
guys.
Wow, what an interview. What a guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love it. Love the enthusiasm.
Yeah.
This guy's a Kiss freak from day one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love it.
A guy we've known since high school.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to tell the story because I forgot while he was talking. I have like 5 binders of magazine cutouts and clippings from the 70s when I was a Kiss fan, young lad. And I thought I had the stuff, you know. And here comes Leo with the same kind of binder. It was a photo album. He whips his open, and he's got confetti and hair that he picked up off the floor from being on the, close to the stage. And he swears it's Paul and Gene's hair. And I was like, well, that just blows my newspaper clippings out of the water.
Yeah. Hey, Frank, put your binder away. All right.
Yeah. You're not impressing anybody with that,
Yeah.
mister. Yeah, go back to
what's that?
scrapbooking. So,
Exactly.
so anyways,
Make a
Leo,
collage.
thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Leo. Thank you very much, Leo.
Yeah, thank you so
All right.
much, Leo.
Solid.
Let's move forward. And Jerry picked Boston's debut album for us to revisit.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a little discussion yesterday prior to the podcast about this. And
Go ahead and say it, Frank.
no. I have nothing but love for the album. I really do. I listened to that album when it first. Matter of fact, I sent you a picture of the second album that I have of theirs from 1978. I wore out the first album, okay, and had to dump it. It was gone. But my take on that album, and I love every song on Boston's debut album. Don't get me wrong. Every song is a good song.
stuff. Yep.
But as I look back, they could have taken Party and Don't Look Back, put it on that first album, made it a 40-minute album, and called it a career. I didn't get into them at any of their Amanda. Come on, all their older
You don't like
stuff.
Amanda?
No. No. But anyways, the first album, excellent, and we can get into the production and the Tom Schultz stuff and all that because it was different. It was bright and tinny sounding, and there was a method to the madness of how it was recorded.
Oh, I
And-
loved it.
But that was one of those.
Still do. Yeah.
They were one of the only bands that put an album out in 1976, sold 17 million copies, and took 2 years to put another album out. Everybody else was putting two albums out
every
a year.
6 months. Yeah. Kiss was putting them out every 6 months for a little bit there.
And for me,
But
I lost.
To be fair, hello.
Go ahead, be
Yeah,
fair.
go, Jim.
We're fair.
No, you got
Okay.
it.
To be fair,
Tell him, Jim.
they didn't
Tell
sell
him.
17 million albums right off the bat. They did like 7 million albums in the first X amount of months. I mean, over time, it sold 17 million albums.
Well, let me put something in perspective real quick, though, Jim.
But they went on a 10-month tour, though, Frank. So
Playing live, Jim?
yeah, they went out and did like a 6-week tour, and then they were supposed to come back and record, but the album took off. So they were out on the road 10 months, almost 12 months.
Kiss put out 2 albums in '76. Queen put albums out.
There we go.
All the other bands were putting albums out and selling. They didn't sell that number, but that was just the times.
But
There
they
you go.
also had a plan. Like they knew we were going to tour, we're going to stop, we're going to record. I don't think Boston had a plan.
no.
No. I bet they were surprised. As
They were
everybody else when it
surprised
sold.
by the
Yeah.
tour because all of a sudden it was like, hey, you guys are going to go, and they just kept booking shows.
Yeah.
So they ended up getting tied up. So in their defense, but now we also talked about their original contract
Right.
was
That was the issue,
10
right?
albums
Contract
over
issue.
6 years.
Yeah.
Right.
And it took them, what was it, 3
Oh my
years,
God.
whatever, to put out the
15 years
first
for
2.
3.
It was
probably,
2 years for the first 2, and then it was 8 years for
For the
stage
third
3
one,
to come
right?
out.
So,
Yep.
But
yeah,
the
matter of
first
fact,
album,
he was sued by CBS as a result.
well, they wanted him, Tom, to go to the studio to record. And he didn't want to do that because he wanted to record in his basement because of all the shenanigans of how he was recording.
Right.
Because he was using technology he didn't want to share at that time. And that's all that was. That sound, he had created that through different electronic stuff. They ended up selling the Rockman, if you remember that. They had a little box, which was a Walkman, but it made the Boston sound. And all it was a split signal. You had pan hard right, pan hard left. You had heavy chorus on both sides, and voila, you're Boston, all in one. And he made a mint off of that as well. But like I said, music-wise, every song is solid. But after that, come on, guys.
Well,
what do you
as
mean
a
by
rookie
after
ba-
that?
as-
So you're
as a
talking
rookie-
second album on, or
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
As a rookie band, let me just throw this in there. As a rookie debut band, they debuted at Madison Square Garden. Not CBGB's.
In
MSG.
1976 or whatever, right?
Yeah,
You think
well,
they
They
could do that
debuted
today?
at Madison Square Garden. I think
they
the Knack did that.
could have done it in 1980? No, it was music mattered then. Live music mattered then. People were starving for live acts. And again, who pushed them? What do I talk about before? Every band that's big and popular, the record company gets behind them and they push them on the radio. How do you have? You can't
I hear
tell me.
Boston all over the radio. That's all I
But
know.
you could also go see a show for under $20.
True, $8 a ticket you could get back then.
$6
I don't-
for a short sleeve T-shirt, 10 for a long sleeve. Yeah.
I think I don't remember what we paid to go see Judas Priest. It was maybe $12
Yeah.
plus service charge of maybe $1.
Yeah,
Mhm.
if that.
And we were sitting on the floor or on the floor risers. So
Well, let me just run some
you
bands by
can't do that now.
Let me run some bands by you that put out albums in 1976, and you tell me out of those who's still playing, who still matters, and who's still relevant, because it ain't Boston, okay?
They were then.
1976. What year is this?
I don't even
Okay.
care. I like the Boston debut. That's all that's going on, folks.
Kiss, Queen, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, Scorpions, Rush, Blue Oyster Cult, Runaways, Rainbow, Saxon, Accept, Diamond Head, Aerosmith, UFO, Alice Cooper, Ted Nugent. All big names, all big acts.
And none of them
Albums.
touring except Alice Cooper and freaking Aerosmith.
Oh, apparently you don't have the internet. But anyways,
So Queen is
I
still
like
touring.
all those
That's-
bands.
I know Queen's still touring, but that's not Queen. What they're touring
I'm
with.
just
But
saying.
they'll sell out the Forum, I bet.
I know they will.
Yeah.
But that, a lot of those bands are still relevant. Maybe they might be playing today, but you'll still go back and listen to some of their records.
Mhm.
I did. I went back and listened to Boston's first album, and I'm like, eh.
You
it's
don't
just-
like the lead in Hitch a Ride? where it fades out and fades back in
Oh,
with
it's-
just this
it's-
ripping, shredding lead.
nice.
Oh, I love it.
It's nice, but if you'd taken that and just plugged into a Marshall and done it, every other band in 1976 that I just mentioned did the exact same thing.
Frank,
They were
I
nothing
don't have
special.
a Marshall amp at my house, Frank. I don't have a Marshall amp. I go
So-
by my ear.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So as a sidebar, you were saying like
Sorry, Jim,
the
we-
music left you a little limp. You
Yep.
were kind of because it had a certain sameness to it.
Every song, yeah.
That's
And,
what
and
I
I went back and listened to it again today, and
I did too.
and I have to agree with you.
It's good, and it was for the time.
And I think so. Let me just run this by you guys,
Mhm.
okay? What you said was every song on there's good.
Mhm.
If you had to just listen to songs, it would be great. But when you throw them all together, it becomes a little tedious.
Yeah.
I think because it's just a lot of the same chord progressions
Mhm.
over and over again.
They
Yeah, but
weren't
see,
great
you guys-
musicians. They were not.
There used to be a
you guys are the musicians, and that's why you hear. I just like what I hear. I like what I hear. I don't think to myself, man, he playing a G chord again? Oh, that tramp.
No,
It's like-
no.
well,
like
no,
it.
it's
I
not
like
even
it.
it's not even that. But
A lot of bands do
there's
that,
a
though.
certain-
In fairness
Oh,
to
sure,
Boston,
yeah, they just make fun of AC/DC also.
yeah, a lot of bands have the same thing over and over and over. Don't get me wrong, but that one album was enough for me. I say the second album. I know you like "Don't Look Back," Jim. I didn't care for that, and
I don't think I said I like Don't Look Back.
you did yesterday, but that's okay.
Did I? Oh,
Yeah, but let me say this.
that was yesterday.
It it sold 7 million copies,
7 million.
Right.
right? And that was a failure for them because they sold
Yeah, Tom Schultz thought
17
they
million
did
on the
too.
first one.
Yeah.
You know, but
Anybody else would be dying to sell 7 million.
me
Oh,
about
are you
it.
kidding
Copies,
me? Yeah.
right.
No kidding. Yeah.
Never saw them live. I've never even looked them up on YouTube to see them live.
That might be something to do just to see how it sounds.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I was never a huge Boston fan.
Mm-mm. No.
They weren't. I don't know, crunchy enough for me. I guess I don't know.
Well, like Jerry said earlier, they were very. They had a high pitched, trebly sound.
I love it.
that
I
he
love
likes.
treble.
Yeah.
Changed the way albums were produced though, because
Yeah.
it kind of became the gold standard for how a record should sound.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
a
always-
lot of people kind of chased that sound. And you know, we talked about Mutt Lange, okay?
Mhm.
And I think I think a lot of people looked at that and said,
This is how
we
you
can
do it.
spend more time producing a record, you know?
Right.
Mm.
Well, I always put Boston, and I know you guys will disagree, and so will everyone that's listening, but I put them in this little estrogen group that swam around with REO Speedwagon and Journey and Styx and those types of bands that, you know, their music just had a certain something to it that wasn't hard and heavy enough for me. You know, it was a radio friendly type of sound.
Yeah.
I didn't
See,
care
I
for it.
would put them. I wouldn't throw them in that pool. I'd put them maybe just a cut above those bands.
You think?
To me, they
Yeah,
were heavy.
but-
They were heavier than the ones you mentioned.
Yeah,
Boston- to me,
not
Boston's
as heavy,
heavier than
Guitar-wise.
Oreo.
but not as heavy as a lot of the bands that Frank and I were listening to.
Well, see, I had already moved on to Iron Maiden.
Yeah, you
and
guys were already.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
yeah, you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
some different things, but the lyrical content of Boston was about the same stuff as Journey and stuff like. They were love songs, you know, just wimpy, you know. Didn't care for it, but that's okay, Jerry.
Yeah. No, that's why we do this podcast, folks. In Conspiracy Land. That's why we do this.
And
So,
get what?
favorite song? Favorite song on the album?
It's a ride for me every time.
No, for me. And
Oh, that solo.
not Party, because that's on the other. Smoking.
Smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And-
pretty.
and that
I'm
is
with
stuff-
you. I'm with you on that.
And that's just a Chuck Berry riff type song. There's nothing special to that whatsoever, but it kicks.
Yeah, but it kicks.
yeah.
And that keyboard
It
comes in.
boogies along at a
yeah.
good pace.
Yeah.
So I say, and their band, other until you brought them up a couple of weeks ago, I hadn't thought about Boston. You know, and you know we've talked. You know, rest his soul, Brad Delp and his issues.
Yeah, sad story.
Such a great talent and
Voice
Great
of an
voice,
angel.
man.
Voice
Great
of an
voice.
angel.
Yeah.
So sad.
I think they had a woman singing for him for a little while too, didn't they?
Yes, they did. Cosmo. I had it for a while. I have all their stuff, but yeah, they delved into different vocalists, and then Brad Delp came back on corporate. I don't know, was Corporate America or Walk On, but did a song or two. But yeah, they delved into.
You know, I talk smack about not liking it, but if I were to sell 17 million albums, you could say whatever you want. You know?
Good point. Good point.
Yeah, it's we always say, does it stand the test of time or whatever? For me, it doesn't, because I don't give it much thought like I used
It does
to.
to me.
Yeah.
I put it on today. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't really give it a lot of thought back in the day.
Oh,
I
played it.
remember hearing it and hearing that guitar tone and just being kind of blown away. And when you listen to some of the sustain on that, and I'm sure it's not, it's all studio
generated. Yeah.
but it's
and reading,
it just sounded so amazing.
yeah.
The songs really sounded great.
But I
Didn't
just
sound like
remember
anything else.
reading how many layers upon layers upon layers of guitars he used to get all that. And that's why he didn't want to go in the studio. He didn't want anybody seeing what he was doing, you know. And I used to think, oh, that makes too many guitars. It just sounds muddy or whatever. But the way he had it working, it made for a fat sound.
very fat,
Yeah.
heavy chord, nicely trebly. I love it.
I think there's a certain I think there's a certain beauty to bands when they have their own studio.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah.
because there's no pressure to be speedy about anything. And I remember when Van Halen finally moved into Eddie Van Halen's studio.
But their sound changed.
All of a sudden they were in, but they were in no hurry to put out a record.
No.
You know, the record company's like, well, when are we get the record? Well, you'll get it when we're done.
Yeah.
When we're done with it, yeah.
But they didn't have to worry about, budgets or anything else. They could stay in the studio as long as they wanted.
Yeah. Well, I know, not to talk too much on this, but when Sammy joined, I didn't like their sound anymore. And it wasn't because of him. It was the guitar tone. It got, as Eddie calls it, browner.
And that keyboard, got
a lot
fat.
of keyboards, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
For me, it was because of him. But
yeah, well, no, he changed the whole dynamic of the song.
he changed the dynamic of the band. Yeah, absolutely.
So, but
we're talking about Boston.
well, Boston, exactly. I don't want to shortchange Jerry in Boston. So,
No. I got my Jones. No,
So,
we're good.
what's your
We're
favorite
good.
song on that one, Jerry? What'd you say?
Hitch a ride.
Hitch a Ride.
Hitch a ride, and just wait for the solo, folks, out in Conspiracy Land. Just play Hitch a Ride.
Good
Just
deal.
get your headphones on, AirPods, Bluetooth, whatever, and wait till the solo kicks in and email us. JFJ Show, Gmail.
I'm surprised
Sir,
you didn't have a rock
Is our
tron.
least favorite song?
Not really. Not on that album.
Not, no, I'm looking at the songs. No,
I don't like that.
not really. Not really.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything on that. It's that second album that just had a bunch of duds on it for me. And
Yeah, but it had that initial cut, the radio-friendly cut, Don't Look Back. And
Yeah.
that's what just, oh, yeah, Boston, they're great. Woof,
yeah.
came right back into vogue.
I think if I were producing this record, and I'm not, and nobody asked me, but I think I would have put Foreplay and Long Time at the very beginning. I would have opened the record with that.
Now, I asked you guys before, did that not remind you of Frankenstein at all? Johnny Winter?
Not me.
Foreplay.
To me, it's
Foreplay
a
he's talking
different,
about.
it's a different
Foreplay he's
vibe.
talking- yeah.
Wow.
But I had told Frank, Jim, I said, if you're thinking about Frankenstein and you listen to Foreplay, it does kind of sound like it, but it just right.
I
off the
tried to
bat-
listen for it, and I didn't.
never
Oh
got
yeah,
you.
If I'm thinking it and I played it, I go, oh, now I can see that the keyboard. Yeah, little
Of course,
Frankenstein.
I didn't go back and listen to Frankenstein to make a comparison either.
That's an
so
awful
I
long
don't-
one to
yeah.
listen to, yeah.
Yeah, but I know that riff.
I
Oh, that-
can't. I don't think I can tell you the last time I heard Frankenstein.
It's been
We
a
don't listen
while.
to radio anymore, so it's not.
Is it still on the radio?
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it. Every
So-
blue moon.
Well, I want to
Yeah.
hear a sad note about the Kiss concert. You know who was out there giving out stuff? K-Earth 101. Now, what does that say?
Oldies.
Oldies. Yeah.
Well, that's what we are, guys.
Was KLOS there at least?
Yeah, they had a small little booth with nothing to give away, and they actually had one of the DJs came out, and I think she came out after the artist painted, and then said, "Let's have a good time tonight" or something. I don't know who it was.
They didn't give away rainbow stickers.
I
No
didn't see any
stickers?
there. No.
Ah.
If they did, they were gone by the time I got over there. There was nobody standing over there then. So, yeah. What's the other? Jack FM was there also. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, Boston.
Yeah,
does it
about,
stand the test of time, folks.
No KNAC.com.
Who's that? You know? No, they went out there.
Yeah.
They
KNAC.
probably don't
Oh
have
my
a
gosh.
budget for that.
Pirate Radio. KNAC. My gosh, fellas.
Well, real quickly, to Jim, did Boston's album debut only stand the test of time? Is it something you'll listen to today?
No, I don't listen to it. I mean, if the song comes on the radio, yeah. I mean, I won't change it, but not in my regular rotation.
Yeah,
Same
I
here.
know.
Not
But
my
has never
rotation.
really been in my regular rotation.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's
I'm kind of
long
weird
forgotten
like
for
that.
me.
It was revisiting. Takes me to a place in time. What were we? 13 guys?
I
Was
enjoyed
that
listening
fifth
to
or
it,
sixth
though.
grade? Oh, yeah. Good stuff.
Well, next episode, guys, let's check out Rush's Permanent Waves. What do you say about that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Matter
Yes.
of fact, not to, bash on Boston, but
You
after I
can't
was
help it, Frank. Just get it out. Get it out.
after my listen of Boston, I said, you know what?
I don't mean to bash him again, but
However,
You know what? I think I saw the horse twitch. So
hit it one more time, Frank. Hit it again.
I was listening to Permanent Waves a lot more than Boston. I'll tell you that much. And, looking forward to what your guys take on that. I was never a
that's
huge
good
Rush
pick,
fan.
Frank.
Not-
That's a good pick.
I
Yeah.
wish I saw them live. Now they're not together and
Yeah.
touring. But
That was my introduction to Rush. Was that
Permanent Waves.
Permanent Waves?
Yeah.
I would agree. Same here. Yeah.
Mine was I heard it on a jukebox, a Working Man, and I heard that song, and I thought, holy cow, these guys are something else. And then somebody played 2112 for me, and I didn't like them because that long interlude at the beginning of that album just too much. I didn't want to think that much.
Lost
Yeah.
Patience.
Yeah.
I want to listen to some music. I don't want to ponder the significance of human behavior and
Yes.
kings and queens and dragons.
Oh,
Play some rock and roll.
Yeah, no, they have a different lyrical content, that's for sure. But Permanent Waves is a good one to look back at, and we'll see how that one
Good
plays
call,
out.
Frank. Good
All
call.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Good deal. You have anything you'd like to top us off with, Jerry?
Yeah, just thank you again to Leo Quinones for the Film Freak and the Kiss Freak, and he's been on Kiss cruises. He loves his Kiss. It's good to get insight from somebody like that. Him and I saw him together in 2017. I saw the reunion show in March of 2000, and it's just good to get a pumped up fan of Kiss on the show. And thank you again, Leo. Appreciate it very much. Thank you.
All right, and I want to give a special shout out to my friend Frank Casada because he can't stand Kiss. And I'm pretty much guaranteeing he's not even watching at this point. So if you're out there, give us a like and a share.
Send him the Leo interview personally. Just send it to him. And I got my backdrop.
Beautiful.
This is for you, Frank.
I love it. Well, what you got for us, Jim? Anything to say goodbye?
Just remember, subscribe to the podcast. Hit us up on YouTube. Like, subscribe, share. Leave comments, please. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter, Facebook. Come find us.
And we're out there.
And leave us comments about how you feel about Boston's debut, people out there in Conspiracy Land.
Absolutely.
I'm sure it's overwhelmingly positive. I don't have a problem with that at all.
Okay.
Oh,
They're all wrong, but that's okay.
I was gonna say, Jim, here it comes. Here it comes. Boom.
No, not a great album, guys. It's just
That's why we love our Frank, folks. That's why we love him. Same as in high school. What? Everybody likes them? I hate them.
That's right. You say black, and I will say white. That's
I'll say white. There it is.
I say John. I say Wayne. Okay.
All right, guys. Well, then with that, like Jim said, smash that like button. I think that might be our new logo on a new bumper sticker or something.
Yeah.
And we got to – I want to take a quick poll here for everyone who's still watching. I want you to leave us a comment. Jerry, show your coffee mug, would you? Is that something you'd be interested in? Look at that. Nice porcelain.
Oh, it's great.
Ceramic.
Great.
JFJ Conspiracy coffee cup. Would you
Yes,
be
they have
interested in
three-
something like that? Leave us a comment, and we'll see where we're going to go. We need to find some of the merchandise, but we want to get something that's popular that everybody would like to sport.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, if there's nothing else, guess what, guys?
Say it.
Say it. Yeah, the shop is closed.
Shop is
People.
closed.
Keep rocking.